All right. Okay. Hello. Nice to see you. Welcome. Hello. Exactly. Hello. Okay. I'm there in a minute. Okay. Looks good. Okay. So, good day. Nice to see you. So, the good news is that there is nothing to realize. There's nothing to get or nothing to overlook or nothing to not be clear about. Because what apparently happens is absolutely unknowable by it being unknowable by it being not experienced. So it's everything can't be experienced, and everything is blind to itself, one could say. It doesn't recognize itself as what it is. It doesn't experience itself as what it is. It just is what it is. So looking to a screen and feelings and thoughts and apparently being you and being me and all that just is what apparently happens. It's not experienced. It's not experienced in its totality. So what might apparently happen is the illusion of an experience. And that's what basically very superficially we could regard as the dream. So that's as a description, it's an apparently artificial reality. I am experiencing something. And within that reality, so to speak, that is all that seems to be known. I am, and what I can know is that I am, and that there is a real existence, which is the world and life and other people and trees and nature and universe and all that stuff. All that seems to be known by being experienced. So I'm conscious about some existence in here because I experience it. There is some experience going on. And most likely there's also an existence out there, which also is kind of proved by me experiencing it, by me being aware of it, and by me experiencing. What this message points to, apparently, is that it's exactly that setup of experiencing doesn't have any substance at all, not to speak about all the other things, trees, and the world. That is not wrong. Me being an illusion or there being no me isn't wrong. And to assume there to be a person isn't wrong either. Both just are what apparently happens. There's nothing right or wrong at all. The apparent dilemma is, or the apparent problem is, that it seems to be that the experience to be someone is just accompanied by a sense of unfulfillment. So the whole seeking energy, the whole seeking drive for an additional realization like enlightenment, freedom, absolute truth, me arriving somewhere, me becoming a person who has arrived, me becoming a person who does not seek anymore, and all those things just only refer to this artificial reality. And that's not wrong either. That's just what apparently happens. Also, there's no right or wrong thing, anything about it. But in the story, one could say, that's why within this setup of separation, there is no arriving possible. Within that setup of being a person, there's just no possibility to become enlightened. And there is no possibility to finally arrive. There is no possibility to become a person who has arrived. Because what's being said here, it's already part of the dream that there is a person who is on a path. It's already part of a dream that there is a person who is not enlightened or not liberated and all that stuff. So what we speak about is not the replacement of unfulfillment by fulfillment. What we don't speak about is the replacement of unenlightenment by enlightenment, or to replace bondage by liberation. There just isn't no such thing as bondage, unenlightenment, unfulfillment. It's not real. It doesn't have to be replaced. And exactly that replacement in the story, one could say, is exactly what the person is working on. That's its dream. I'm an unhappy person, very superficially spoken. I'm an unhappy person. I can become a happy person. And I will know that when I'm aware of that. When fulfillment becomes my conscious experience, when I know that I'm fulfilled, and so on. But as I said, exactly that doesn't work. Exactly that never really happens because it's based on an assumption. It's based on an illusion, namely that there was someone, that there is someone in the first place. So all this waiting for knowing, all this working towards knowing will remain unfulfilled, which again, of course, the person mirrors back to itself. I'm not good enough. I haven't managed. I'm not there yet, and all those things. No, that's not the issue. That's not the problem, so to speak. The thing is that there just is no one, and that those things that are assumed to exist, personal fulfillment, personal enlightenment, just don't exist either. That's all. That's all. And the surprise is, the apparent surprise is that what happens, what apparently happens, including being you and being me, is just whole and complete. It's just naturally okay. This whole idea of I have to become enlightened was an illusion. No, of course not. No one has to become anything. It's a dream. It's not needed at all. It's just naturally and automatically okay, exactly as it is. It doesn't have to become good or holy or fulfilled or the real reality. Nothing has to become obvious and all that things. It just doesn't have to. So there is no message. There is nothing to say or to not say. There isn't anything which could add anything. There isn't anything which could capture what is or could capture truth and all that stuff. And it's just not needed. It just doesn't matter. Going to the fridge and having food is happening anyway. That's it. There's no teaching. There's no message. The person thinks, sorry, I have to go on. The person thinks that there is an enlightened way to go to the fridge and an unenlightened way to go to the fridge. Which is kind of funny, to be honest. But the sad truth is, there is no one going to the fridge. No, So whoever wants to say something, please just turn on your mic and speak. But keep in mind, or not, that the audio will be recorded. Otherwise, you could just write in the chat. Thank you. I think I will go on with this recording for this week at least, and today and tomorrow, and then we'll see. Okay. First question. Oh, okay. In the workplace world, we are often asked to make improvements, innovations, for example, exert some sort of control on our environment. Yes. Oh, yes, that's what apparently happens. Working, doing a job. and apparently being in control of whatever needs to be in control of, so to speak. That's what apparently happens. Yeah. And of course, there's also no one in control about controlling. So checking the time is what apparently happens. Checking emails is what apparently happens. Checking whatever has to be checked is what apparently happens. So there is no one who has to do it, because it's kind of happening by itself. Effort may happen by itself, whatever that is. Yeah. So yes, that's what seems to be going on. Okay, the next question. What is the difference between the sensation sadness and I am sad? You said the me arises simultaneously with the appearances, yet it doesn't exist. Could you explain this? Thank you. Well, the thing is that there isn't a real difference, but one could say the person isn't ever really sad. It just has the experience to be sad. It experiences sadness from a separate standpoint from itself, but it never is sad. The person never thinks. It has the experience to think. It has the awareness about a thinking process, but it doesn't know what thinking is. It doesn't know what feeling is. It doesn't really know what sadness is. No one knows it, but it lives in an apparent knowing, and as I said, only has the experience of being sad, of thinking, of sitting in a room, of walking through the forest. It always seems to come from this separate standpoint, so to speak. And the other thing is, and that's the thing which is unlogical and can't be explained, what's being said here is exactly that never happens. It never, living from a separate standpoint never happens. It doesn't exist. There is no experience of sadness. That separation already is an illusion. And as I said, illusion is already saying too much, because it actually means that it doesn't happen. How this is possible, that some people would definitely claim that they are someone by their not being anything, isn't that this remains without an answer. There is no answer to this. Basically, because that separation doesn't exist. So it's a total story. To say that the me arises is a story, because there is no me arising. It never arises. There isn't anything that comes into existence, any separation, not at all. But what apparently happens is people walking through the forest claiming they have an experience of themselves and experiencing a forest. That's it. So it's a story that there is what is and an additional appearance of a me. No. It's a picture. Okay, next question. Hi, Andreas. Always nice being with you. When you say that this is what is, that this is everything, I don't understand how this is so. Yes, since everyone is seeing different things, live in a different place with different appearances. What do you mean when you say that the room, for example, where sitting appears, walls appear, is everything? Yeah, well, the thing is, what you refer to as everything is everyone's own experience. So what this message doesn't say or doesn't suggest is that what you experience is everything, because that would just be another personal concept or coming from another personal experience. So what apparently happens, which is utterly, utterly unknowable, which is utterly unexperienced, is everything. and is everything in a sense that you can't add anything to it. It's not saying this situation is everything and everything else doesn't exist. No, it doesn't even know this situation. It doesn't even know anything about, this is and this isn't. What you are aware of is, and what I'm aware of isn't, or whatever. So it doesn't point to anything saying, oh, this is the truth. And it doesn't point to other things saying, but this is the illusion. No. What is unknowable. And at the same time, there isn't anything that's lost. In that sense, it's everything. What is everything. But not because someone knows what is. It's not a thing that is everything then. That's how the person would read this. This moment is everything. The moment is, there is a wall, and there is a computer, and there is a Zoom going on, and now this is supposed to be everything. Well, in the end, it's exactly what the person doesn't regard as everything. Well, this can't be it. Just sitting here on Zoom, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for becoming enlightened. I want to go to the fridge in an enlightened way afterwards. That's what I want. Not just this. Okay. Next question. Hello, Andreas. You said that there is no message. You are right. Yes, there really is no message. But why it feels so good to attend these meetings? Please don't that this is apparently happens. I know it already. Yeah, okay. So let's see what I can say. Basically, it feels good. It may feel good to attend these meetings because there is no message. That's freedom. It doesn't even recognize you. It doesn't recognize separation. It doesn't recognize the so-called, I'm overdoing a bit, but it doesn't recognize the so-called drama of life. It doesn't recognize the one who believes him or herself to be struggling through life. It doesn't recognize that. That doesn't exist. And that's freedom. It's pointing to freedom. It's apparently pointing to freedom. Of course, a freedom that already is. It doesn't say you have to become that. It doesn't suggest that you need to be aware of that. That already wouldn't be fun anymore. Then you would have to work again. And you would be confirmed in being someone. This just doesn't happen here. Not as another method. It's not something that can be done, but that just isn't anyone. That may feel good, but you can't really predict that. It's not necessary that it feels good, but there seems to be something about it. Yeah. Okay, the next question. Tony uses the word beloved. I don't think I've heard you use that word or something similar. Yeah. Or do you have your own word for beloved? Yes, I'm a bit sorry for that, but I basically say no thing. Yeah. It's not as fluffy, maybe. Yeah. Or wholeness and that stuff. Next question. Could you say experience still seemingly happens? Taste, smell, etc., but for no one? Yeah, of course, in a way one could say so. The body experiences, the body seems to feel feelings and to think thoughts and to do and to be aware. The body seems to be aware, but there is no one experiencing this. So yeah, if you want to somehow squeeze the word experience in, of course, the body is alive. So apparently, that's what apparently happens. So feelings, thoughts. Yeah, yeah. I mean, what you talk about is very ordinary. It's exactly what happens. It's exactly this, so to speak, unrecognized, not identified as this, but it's
Just a
just
second.
this. Okay, someone says, you sometimes say talk of loveness, like Tony talks of beloved. Yeah, I think I never said loveness, but of course, if you want so, everything is love. I am even sometimes saying this, yes, when I'm in a very good mood. Of course, I mean, of course, it is love. There is no one around saying no to anything. That one could say that is love. And of course, nothing is unfulfilled, so to speak. So wholeness, one could say, is also kind of love. There's nothing really working on making it good, which one could also see as love. But yeah, it's blind. Love is blind. It just says yes to everything. Okay. Question address. So it is like Andreas probably. So it is like in theater, we play and we know it's only a game. Life is a big play, bodies of human animals, but no existing, I believe, felt. I'm playing this game. Yeah, kinda. Nothing is real. Nothing is real, but there isn't anyone knowing that. So to me, this idea of playing sounds pretty much about, well, I play my role because but I know it's an illusion. It sounds a bit conscious to me, like, yeah, I'm pretending it to be real, but somehow I secretly know that it isn't. No, because basically that just is what happens. In that sense, there isn't even a real play going on. There is no one aware of the big game of life, or I'm not acting as if I am someone, though I somehow know that I'm not. No, I'm just what apparently, Andreas just is what apparently happens. And yes, it's not really real, but it's also not really an illusion or that I'm playing games or anything. No, I just am as I am, apparently. The game likeness is maybe that it's not about anything, but it's not that there are game levels or game things to reach or something. So, yes, someone said, I've heard people say in these meetings that no one dies, but I thought it was the other way around. No one lives. Everyone is already dead. There is no one. Only wholeness. Yes, exactly. Yes, there is no one alive in the first place. No one will die. It's a dream. That there is a person who lives is an illusion. And some people might say in the story, if that illusion dies, that's the death of the me. But actually, what's being said here is there is no me. There is no person to die. There is no illusion to drop. There's nothing to become aware of. There is no step to take. Yes. Okay, another comment. Sorry. Yes, meant to say you speak of in loveness. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, hardly. But that's what it is. I mean, okay. Next question. I often get the intuition that everything is just itself without intention, spontaneously, like a tree or a rock or a cat or everything in nature, actually. Is that related to what you're saying? Well, kind of. I mean, yes, everything just is itself without intention, timelessly, so to speak. Oh, yeah, of course. Absolutely. Yes. Well, it's not anything that is trees and rocks and something. There isn't no one really experiencing those things as being real. But yes, of course, there is no direction. Nothing is moving on towards something else. The Zoom chat isn't anything that happens now, which moves on into some future, which will be different. No, no, this isn't happening. And there is no intention, of course. Spontaneously, timelessly. Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Mhm. Yeah, on someone comments on German. Yeah, in Germany, I sometimes say it's what is stimmig. It's kind of right and saturated. I think that's maybe the yeah. Okay, yes. Exactly, yes. Love is blind. And yes, there is no one playing a game. There is no game. There is no big game out there. That's all those pictures that the game of life, the game of whatever. No, not really. Hmm. Okay. Um, seems a question. Seems this destroys every concept, such as fair or unfair thing. Some are poor, some are rich, long life, short life, born as animals or humans, yeah, plants, poor, disabled people, children who are under hunger, etc. All, oh, yes, exactly. Yes, of course. All of that would be what apparently happens, which is not an answer to it. Everything is exactly what it is. And on the other hand, nothing of that is real. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And none of that needs an answer. Neither the so-called good life nor the bad life, which is a story anyway, but yes, poverty or wealth can't be answers. And neither of those need an answer. They just are what they are. They are blindly okay, but not good or bad in a sense as the person would assume them to be. Yes. Okay, next question. Yeah, it's going on a lot today. Okay. Um, Andreas, could you elaborate on the part you mentioned, walking around saying no to things? Yeah. What's this yes to everything? Yeah. Are you talking about when there's no individual, there's no opposition? Thanks, man. Yes, exactly. So, what we don't speak about is trying to walk through life saying yes to everything. That's not, no, that's absolutely not needed. There is nothing needs the confirmation to be allowed to be. That's just what the person would need for itself, to be able to say yes to everything in order to make it good for itself. That's a nice try maybe, but no, that just is neither yes or no to anything, because what apparently happens just is itself. There is no space for doubt. There is no space for a yes or no, actually. Or one could say what apparently happens, doesn't care at all about someone allowing it or not. So this saying no and saying yes thing would just be part of an illusion. But of course, what the person does apparently, but not as a conscious thing. It's not because a wrong conditioning or something, but the setup of experiencing somehow implies this no. Because whatever is experienced, it's immediately regarded as not everything, not what I want, not total. This is what I meant with no. The person in the person's story or the person's experience, there would be sitting in the Zoom meeting with Andreas isn't it. I'm here for something else. I'm here to get something from the Zoom meeting for my actual goal. The person would say, it's good to be here because it might support my future falling away. But by experiencing in that way, it says actually that's not it. Sitting here in the Zoom meeting isn't it. That's what I meant with the no. Liberation in the story would just be the crumbling of that impression, but it wouldn't be replaced by a yes to everything. The yes is imminent. The yes is, it doesn't need a yes. Sitting in front of a computer doesn't need a yes. It's just whole automatically already. So yes, it's exactly what you said. In the end, it's the whole dream of opposition, that I'm opposed to the world, that I'm opposed to what I'm aware of. And the dream is that I could replace my no by saying yes. I think there's a lot of people trying to do that, to try to say yes to everything, or at least to as much as possible. The dilemma of the person is that there is always coming a new situation which has to be said yes to. So it never really ends. Okay, next question. It seems each character speaks about non-duality, has their own flavor. Yeah. Some are very flowery and creative, and some are more practical. Yeah. Well, that's what apparently happens. Next question. And what about ignorance? Well, it depends on what you mean with that world, but one could say to not experience oneself and is ignorance, which is bliss in that sense. That's the natural reality. To nothing knows itself, nothing experiences itself. Everything is blindly itself. That's the joy and the happiness and the love and the bliss. Nothing can be known. Nothing is known. It's a dream. To live in a known reality is an illusion. It does not exist. Okay, each flavor is beating beautiful. Oh yes, everything is in that sense, well, beautiful, you know. Okay, next question. Well, today people wrote faster than they speak, type faster than they speak. Or maybe I'm just speaking so much. Okay, wholeness doesn't think and has no consciousness whatsoever. Yes. And in a way, humans don't think either. Yes. There is just an appearance of thinking, coming and going nowhere. Oh, yes, absolutely. Yes, nothing is happening. There aren't thoughts, there aren't consciousness, there aren't humans. Yes, nothing does do everything. There isn't a real happening going on. Totally. Oh, yes. And the next question fits. Can you explain this isn't happening? Well, in the end, to be honest, no one knows that, but the only thing which experience is happening is an illusion. So happening would be something going on in time and space. And the only thing that experiences something going on in time and space is the person. Because the person says, well, I'm here now. I'm happening. This is time and space. I'm here now. I'm happening. And coming from this position, everything else seems to be happening. Again, only by being aware of it. But the thing is, when exactly that center turns out to be a complete illusion, the whole impression of there being a real happening crumbles with it. But what is totally unknowable. And there isn't even the process of what is. That there is something which is. That there is something which exists, whatever it is. No matter how impersonal it sounds, what is. But in the end, there is no processing of there being anything in the first place. In that sense, this, sitting in front of a screen, is not happening. There is nothing which could observe if there is a happening or not. There's nothing which can have a look. Is there something happening or not? Let's have a look. Oh, not possible, except in the dream. And the funny thing is that the person will always come to the conclusion that something is happening, of course. Because in order to check, in order to have a look, you already need something that seems to be happening, namely oneself. So the person will always say, yeah, let's check if there is something. Yeah, something is there. There is something. I don't know what it is. I have no clue, but it's some existence. Okay. Next question. Could you say alive and dead at the same time, like everything and nothing? Yes. Could you say alive and dead at the same time? Yes, like everything and nothing. Yes, of course. Everything is and isn't. It's dead and alive. It's empty and full, which can't be known. What that is, how that actually is, how it actually is unknowable. It's undescribable even. But yes, alive and dead would fit to is and isn't, real and unreal. Real would be alive and unreal would be dead. It's empty and full. Yes. Me seems to has to deal with everything and gets easily overwhelmed with all the things which arise. Yes. But there is in actual no one who has to deal with those things. Yes, exactly. Exactly. The thing is that the whole impression of me and things is the dream. It doesn't, this message doesn't say that you are someone, but you don't have to deal with things. There are also people trying to do that, often not very successful, because dealing with things happens or not, but there isn't anyone who has to do it. And it's exactly that impression. There is me, this small person, living in this huge separate universe, which is totally unpredictable and wild. And I have to somehow make my way through it. And of course, with all what seems to be going on in the person's awareness, other people, catastrophes, job, things, of course. The person feels constant, not constant, it's a bit overdoing it, but in a way, the person's life is constantly threatened, of course. Not just life, it's just also, it's just threatened. It's happiness, it's joy. Whatever seems to be worthwhile for the person is constantly threatened. It can all be taken away. All can be, other people can be killed. They can insult you. You can do things wrong. You can lose all your money. You can, whatever, lose legs and whatever. And all those things mean something for the person and are believed to be needed in order to become a fulfilled and happy person. Of course, and when it notices that it can't control anymore, if too much is going on out there, it feels overwhelmed. And the fear is actually, I can't stand, I can't survive in that wildness. I can't survive in what's going on. But as I said, it's exactly that life which is an illusion. So yes, no one has to deal with life, but there also isn't anything called life out there. So everything just is itself. Everything just naturally happens, including all kinds of feelings, so to speak. And if it is what apparently happens, none of it will kill you, the body. No feeling ever killed a body. If it were, yes, so it's an assumed fear. Okay, next question. I used to think you were mean saying people die without getting an answer. Oh, that's not mean. That's just how it is. But now it seems, of course, there is no answer for anyone. No answer, no anyone. Oh, yes, of course. Oh, yes. Seen from the person, it looks utterly mean to die without having reached anything, not even a single bit of wisdom or clarity or some of, no, not even that. It'll just end. It'll just be over. And and the second mean thing might be that it'll be just over for no one. So there won't even be anyone for whom it's over. So yes. It's gorgeous, I think. But yes, of course, it's just a dreamt reality. I am. And my life leads towards the actual, leads towards my fulfillment. No, it just doesn't. It doesn't need to. Not because you are someone and you will never get it. A poor person. No, not at all. There just is no, okay, so someone had. Is her microphone on? Okay. No, there just is no one, and there just is nothing to find, and that's all right. Okay, next thing. It feels so good and it's nothing to do. For a real person, it's a terrible message. Yes, it would be. If there would be real persons, this would be a terrible message, of course. Fortunately, there aren't. Yeah. Oh, yes. Because for the person, what's being said here is you will never get it. You will never get what you are working on since you were born. Namely, you were working on you and your life and you and your fulfillment. That was what you were working on. All those things don't exist. Mm. Okay, next question. Because I is felt this message, why I feel I from others. Because when you speak, I don't feel person, but when I speak with another.
Andreas,
Yes.
I have so many mistakes there. Can I ask you of that?
Oh yeah, please.
I wanted to ask you if there is I mean, in my body, I feel still I feel person, and I hear you. I don't feel any person. And when I speak with some people, from normal life, I mean, for example, with some of my friends or something like that, I feel the person sometimes so much. Is it because it's really felt where is a person or not? Or it is because I am a person, I see even another person or felt?
Well, it's both in a way. Because in a way you can hear if someone believes themselves to be someone. So
I mean,
yeah.
If you speak with someone, you felt that there is so much person, and sometimes you don't feel it. For example, with you.
Yeah, but I would say two things here, because it's not. I wouldn't say that I feel other persons in other persons. It's not that there really is a person, but it's quite obvious that other people sometimes think that they are someone. But it's not that there is someone there. It's not that I see someone there. There isn't anyone. But mostly people just tell themselves.
Yes, okay.
They just tell, well, I am someone and I need this or whatever. And apparently that can be felt.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, absolutely, yes. But but this whole thing just is what apparently happens.
Yeah.
It's not that there really is someone.
Yeah, okay. But it's apparently happened.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. That it can apparently happen, yeah. But as I said, usually just people tell themselves. It's not really that. I don't feel, I never feel like, oh, wow, oh, there is someone. Ooh, what are you going to do about it? No. But most people just say it right away. And of course, they don't say it. Often they just feel like that. And so, yeah, that can be obvious.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Andreas.
Hello.
Can I have a question about glimpses?
Yes, please.
So, what is it like when the me drops? So I thought that when, now I think I get what non-duality is about.
Oh.
There's no person, there's no me, no one is talking. there's no one out there to, so I get it. But it doesn't really make any difference. I mean,
Of course. Oh no, no, it doesn't. Why should it?
I don't know. I know.
Ah,
Of course, it shouldn't.
yeah.
But then some, and at the same time, the me drops. And there are talks about like glimpses. So how is it? Could you please elaborate?
Well, in the end, all of that would be what apparently happens. So first thing, when you say you get non-duality, or you get what this is about, what you seem to get is a concept of
Yeah.
what you think that this is about. So it has, in the end, nothing to do with what this is about, because it's not about anything. So it's not about lose. So you get some concept. And what was the second part of the yeah. And what apparently happens is that a lot of people assume themselves to be someone. That's what apparently happens as well, for no reason. That's non-duality. But what also seems to be happening, that there can be holes in this experience, as if this whole experience to be a person in a world can crumble and can have holes. And it's possible that the person can come back or survives the hole, so to speak. It survives the absence, which is a story, it's a description. And what also seems to be happening, or can happen apparently, is that the sense to be a person can crumble completely. This would be liberation. That's the story.
So basically, like,
No, no, there is no better or worse.
useful.
Well, we'll see.
Okay.
And
Thank
in
you.
the story, I think this was part of your question. In the story, one could say that crumbling of the person would be the death of the me,
Yeah,
which
exactly.
is very, very superficially spoken, because the death of the me is simultaneously turning out that there is no me. There never was.
There never was a me in the first place.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Although it feels very real.
exactly. Yes. Yes. Yeah. But there's also no one behind that. There is also no one choosing that, doing that. Yeah, exactly. It just is what apparently happens, that you feel as if you are someone. Yeah. Not right, not wrong, not no one imprisoned into that, no one there who could be freed from that. It just is what apparently happens, with all the apparent consequences, which may be seeking and trying to do life and all. Yeah, that's it. And that's not a concept. This can't be understood. How it actually is, how that exactly actually is, can't be understood.
Yeah, I mean, that's the point. I understand the concept, but
Yeah.
like how, I mean, I know nothing happens, but like how the me drops and why and I mean,
Yes. But that's the thing. All those questions already, they will remain unanswered, because they are already operating within a conceptual reality, or within a dreamt reality. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But those questions will never be answered, because there is no answer to why and how and all that stuff. But yes, it's just, I'm a person and I'm living in this world. And how the fuck does this work? How is this all going together? How can I find the one picture, the one concept which covers it all? But that's the thing, it's already assuming a world made out of parts. And I have to somehow get them all together. And it already ends with saying there is no me, and the me drops away. Ooh. And that's the moment you have the person has these two informations, and okay, now I try to bring them together. It fails. It's impossible.
Quite frustrating.
Yes, one could say so. The person's quest for fulfillment is frustrating. Yeah, true. It's looking for something that does not exist. There may be, on the path, there may be the illusion of, I got something, and new hope is coming up, and the assumption I'm on the right path and stuff. But 5 minutes later, you have lost what you saw, or you can't integrate it in your life. So, not there yet. Again, not there yet. Yeah. So in the story's experience, this is frustrating. But it's an apparent frustration, fortunately. It's not real. It doesn't bother too much.
Oh, yeah, it does.
More or less. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I mean, basically. That's what apparently happens. When there is the sense of a person, the frustration can seem big, can be very frustrating. Yeah, true.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, just go on in the chat. 3 more questions. When I hear this message, I just relax, but soon I get back into real life. I live in my story and suffer. Why can't this relaxation stay? Oh, there is no answer, because what you describe just is what apparently happens. And one could, a little bit Buddhist-like, say, well, nothing stays, but basically there just is no answer. And what you describe is what happens. Participating in the Zoom, get a little bit rest maybe, what already isn't unknown, why or how, or is there someone having a rest and all that stuff. And then you apparently just go back to what you would call your real life. Yeah. For no reason. For no reason. Someone writes, like eating a nothing burger. I like that. Okay, wanting the me to drop exists only in the dream of me. Oh, yes, absolutely. Yes. It's coming from the assumption that there is something real, namely me, and that me could really drop. Of course. Seen from the person, that's just another something that could or should happen. It's not wrong either, but it's just within the person's experience, some dream world. I'm now here, and something should happen, and afterwards it'll be somehow good. In the end, still for me, of course, it's not that the me should drop for no one. In the end, it should drop still for me, but it's just another goal, another assumed goal. That's a good next question. It used to seem like a glimpse was a sign of getting there. No, but it turned out that no one can have a glimpse. A glimpse is an appearance, like eating a burger. That was it referring to. Okay, like eating a burger, meaningless. No one has ever had a glimpse. And then was the comment, like eating a nothing burger. Yes, exactly. That a glimpse has nothing to do with a person. Exactly. So one could say when there is a glimpse, apparently, exactly, an appearance, you said, that's a moment, an apparent moment where just isn't anyone. But of course, the moment self-awareness comes back, the glimpse is turned into something that happened to me. That's the only possibility that the person can process it. It, 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 it can understand that it doesn't know how it was or that there was no one somehow. But of course, immediately it is turned into, oh, I had a glimpse. It's now part of my story. And it somehow meant something. Yeah. No, it didn't. No. It's an appearance anyway. There is no real glimpse. No one has a glimpse. Yeah, totally. On the other hand, a glimpse can be very impacting. It can very impact the story in a way. Because from that moment on in the story, it wasn't a concept anymore that there is no one. It was a bit like, suddenly there really was no one. But that would be all in the story. Okay, last comment. Not to gain something is very frustrating. Of course, yes, because all the effort, everything that the person believes itself to do is in order to gain something. Everything, every step the person believes to take is accompanied by the hope that this will serve me, that this will additionally give me something. And in the dream of the person, it's always, the assumption is that that everything gives something. It just wasn't enough. I did do so many meditations and always I got a little bit of peace. It just wasn't enough yet. Whenever I read a book, the assumption is, well, I really got some nice, interesting insights. It just wasn't the real one big insight that I still need. But that's all the dream. Nothing ever gave something. Within nothing ever anything was gained. No insight, no partner, no situation, whatever the situation was promising. It was all empty, right? All lifelong, all the apparent lifelong, so to speak. But on the other hand, all the apparent lifelong, it already was whole and complete, of course. Not that it was wrong, not that anything was wrong in that. There just was nothing in that, and there never needed anything to be in that. So yes, there is no gain from anything. Everything is empty, including oneself. You can't also gain anything from yourself or being in a right or wrong way. It's empty as well. There is no one. Everything is empty and full. All right. In that sense, there is no suggestion. There's nothing to do or to not do. There is no right or wrong way to be, because there is no one. There isn't anything that is. There isn't anything which lives an autonomous, separate life. But what apparently happens, including you and me and thoughts and feelings, is just naturally and blindly whole. It's complete. It doesn't need anything. You are happening, apparently. I'm happening. Everything is apparently happening. That's it. That's a natural reality. Unrecognized, unexperienced, but itself. Thank you very much. I wish you a wonderful day. Thank you very much. Nice to see you.
Thank you, Andreas.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Wonderful.
Nice to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Andreas.
Thanks.
Thank you, Andreas.
Thank
Thank you. Have a lovely
Thank you, Andreas. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Andreas.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Oh, ik ben er al uit.